All right, in this series of videos, I'm just going to be working through a few examples of how to solve trig equations. There's a lot of little tricks and tricky spots in these equations, so I wanted to work through and just kind of show you how to watch out for some of those things and work through these. So this is the first example. It's a pretty fairly basic one. We're just given this simple equation: sine of x is equal to 0.7. This would be a calculator question. This isn't really solvable using non-calculator methods. So first thing to note, if you've completed the investigation on solving these equations, technically there are an infinite number of solutions here. So usually you're given an equation like this, it's going to restrict the domain to be some range of values here. So in this case, we're just going to be looking over the normal 0 to 360 range, which is a fairly typical range to be looking at, but you will see others. All right. So this is a fairly simple equation. We're going to solve this just by taking the inverse sine of both sides of the equation. So the inverse sine of both sides, and that would result in this solution right here. So the inverse sine is going to cancel out the sine on this side, and we'd get x is equal to the inverse sine of 0.7, which is approximately 44.4 degrees. Again, three significant figures is what IB generally looks for. Now, that's what your calculator is going to give you. But remember, if we think back to the symmetry on the unit circle, we have two coordinates. Really, what this is saying is that the y coordinate on the unit circle is 0.7, but we know there are 2 points that are like that on our unit circle, right here and right here by that symmetry. So the calculator is always going to give us this acute angle, the solution that would be in quadrant one. So we can find the other one just by using that identity of subtracting the solution that we get from 180 degrees. So there are two solutions in the domain that we are looking for here. The first one, your calculator will just give you directly 44.4. The second one, just subtract it from 180. Because this is a sine equation, we use that identity, right? There are separate rules for the cosine and the tangent that you may need to use for those ones. And those are the two solutions to this equation.